Oh my goodness. You know what I do on Christmas Eve.
Oh my gosh.
You stole my best bite around early.
That was really close.
I'm just going to go with it and see if Dustin calls me out on it.
This is Pod Strangely Warmed, a place where we tell the good Methodist story, where we have conversations that invite followers of Jesus to seek after that loving, just, and free world that God imagines for us all, and have a little fun along the way. Hey, Pod Strangely Warmed family, we are back here in the studio getting ready for our Christmas Essentials draft, and it's feeling a little sad, maybe, or not quite Christmassy enough.
Or festive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
you
it
know.
could be a little more festive.
Well, maybe I can help with that. Okay? Here we go.
Hey, here we are. It's Merry Christmas time. Not only are we festively decorated, but we got new friends here on the podcast. It is Christmas Eve here on Pod Strangely Warmed. Whoa, Santa's here.
Yeah.
Santa and Jenna and Trey. Man, we are just set and ready to go on this episode of Pod Strangely Warmed. It may be slightly absurd, but this is our Christmas Essentials draft, and therefore we are signed up for absurdity. So if you didn't sign up for absurdity this Christmas Eve, know that you may need to click through, or you can just stay and embrace the joy of the absurdity of this. You will watch nothing better than this for wrapping presents during. So this is great present wrapping time. If it's 1 a.m. and you're a preacher, first of all, I'm here with you, but my condolences, I'm sorry. But we're going to have a great time. We are here to draft the Christmas Eve essentials, right? Drafts are something we do here on Pod Strangely when we try to help all of our community know what is essential for certain things. We had big game essentials. We had essentials for the new annual conference, right? We had Holy Week essentials. Today, we've got Christmas Eve essentials. And over the course of the next 30 minutes or so, we will draft essentials in 5 categories. Worship experience, a Christmas Eve tradition, kind of non-church activity, the best bite of Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, either one, kind of the season, the best bite. The 4th is Christmas ambiance. What do you need in your surrounding area to help you know and feel like it is Christmas? And the 5th is wild card. Anything Christmas related that you want to hold on to that helps you or that is an essential for you. As always, we will do this by a snake draft, going 1 to 4 and 4 to 1. And once something is taken, it cannot be taken by anybody else. And so know that that is on the board. So if you pick the best thing first time and somebody else wants it, too bad, so sad. That is just the way it sits. To be our arbiter of fairness and adjudicator of any grievances that come along the way, it's not Santa Claus. It is Dustin, who is hanging off camera here. And so, Dustin, are you ready to be our arbiter today?
Sounds good. Let's do this.
And do you remember who is with you every week as we record this podcast, just in case you need an internal tiebreaker as you are breaking ties? You ready? I know you spend a lot of time with Trey these days.
I was like, who's with you all of the other hours you're not here?
Well, you know. Jenna, I don't know what you have to hold over Dustin's head, but we can try. Santa, you got the nice list.
I've got naughty and nice.
Right,
yeah, I
right.
got that.
He probably wins.
Right. So Santa wins.
For sure.
That's just the way things go. Before we get started in the draft, now that we've kind of laid the ground rules, Jenna, will you share a little bit? You're our first time guest here on the
Yes.
podcast. Share with us a little bit about where you serve and where church home is for you.
Okay, so long-term listener, first-time guest. Very excited to be here. I serve in Wiley, Texas, at Wiley United Methodist Church, and I've been there for a little over a year and a half now. My family and I live there, close to Nana and Pops, and we're really enjoying that
Very
part
good.
of town.
Very good. Now, you mentioned your kids and you're rocking Bluey.
Yeah,
You got to help me unpack the connection here.
I have a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Enough said.
Yeah. Hair's back because 2-year-old and 3-year-old, my accessories under my eyes, 2-year-old and 3-year-old. I brought them with me.
Where's your coffee? That's what I want to know.
I finished my 3rd cup as I walked in.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Fair enough.
I'm well caffeinated.
Very good. Very good. Trey, you are back on the podcast. You may have gone through a substantial life change between the last time you were on the podcast and now. You may have embraced sleep deprivation in the name of continuing the human race. I don't know. You had your kid. Or you didn't have your kid. Becca had your kid.
Becca had our kid. My wife had our first child. He's 2 months old. I have not embraced sleep deprivation at all. He keeps trying to convince me to embrace it, but I'm a stubborn person. Turns out so is he. So
Fair enough. How is your preparation for Christmas different this year? Kind of the first Christmas with your son.
well, the very first thing is we don't have any outside decorations. I was like,
Yep.
he's not going to remember them, and I'm just too tired. We did, however, get all of the inside decorated.
Nice.
Outside of that, weirdly enough, all of our Christmas shopping is done actually as of on my drive here. I stopped to buy our very last present. And that's really early for us, but we're afraid if we didn't just make it a priority, something was going to happen. We were going to forget it because all of our minds are just constantly on him. So those are the two biggest differences. No outside decorations. We're done Christmas shopping early.
Nice.
He did send me a message as to what he wants for Christmas.
Oh, good. Maybe you can tell me afterwards, Sam.
No, I can tell you right now. It's milk.
That's good. That's very good.
Very good. Santa, thank you so much for being here. You officially have the longest commute of anyone who's come on the podcast. Know that we appreciate it so incredibly much. And we're really curious to know some of your essentials for Christmas. So we're excited for what this will be. If my kids have talked to you too, let's talk off camera to make sure. I want to make sure that we get our stuff right too. Because our 4-year-old is all in on Bluey as well. It is going to be a Bluey Christmas at our house too. So are y'all ready to get drafted?
Absolutely.
We know Trey is not going to draft anything related to outside decorations this year. That was a subtle scouting exercise here today. So I'm going to ask each of you to pick a number between 1 and 10. Hold it in your head. Dustin, I'm going to ask you to pick a number between 1 and 10. And that will help us set who's drafting first. Dustin, you got your number?
I got my number.
Okay. Santa, go first. What's your number?
8.
8.
3.
3.
5.
Dustin, what's our number?
The number is actually 8.
All right. Santa goes first.
A Christmas miracle.
A Christmas miracle. Here we go.
We were
All
destined
right.
to fail.
Santa, you'll go first. We'll go clockwise, which here in the room means Jenna, you're next, Trey, and then me, and then we'll start from there. So, worship experience on Christmas Eve.
Oh, my goodness. You know what I do on Christmas Eve? I have so much fun. I get to go to every home in the world.
Yeah.
You know, and I can say a little prayer over every single home as I go into the home. And so that becomes my essential.
Very good.
There are a couple of other ones, but that's
it.
That's
Okay.
Yeah.
Prayer over every kid in the universe. That's a really powerful experience there.
Big job.
Top that, Jenna. Christmas Eve worship essential.
So I was raised by 2 parents who work in the church. My dad's a pastor and my mom also works in the same church. And so Christmas Eve for us forever, the most important moment was when the family all got to come up and do the last hymn of the Christmas Eve service together. Because we didn't spend a lot of Christmas Eve together. And so that's something that we have now transitioned to doing with my family too.
Yeah.
That there's that moment when we all get to be together and everything else just seems secondary when you get to have your family close by. So that's
Beautiful.
the one for me.
Very good. Very good. Trey, how about you?
Mine's similar, but different enough, I think. We'll find out. Mine's also the final hymn, but very specifically for years, I've been a music minister and a worship director, and very specifically, always closing the worship service with Silent Night.
Boo.
And the final verse, getting to, as a music minister, hold the candle up, leading it from the chancel area, and just watching the sea of light. My wife will tell you, I have never actually sung the final verse of Silent Night because I can't help but cry every single time. It never loses its magic. It is the best part of Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
It absolutely is the best part of Christmas Eve, and I'm really mad right now, Trey. You need to know that. I booed in the middle of your wonderful, sweet explanation because there was still room in Jenna
I know, I
to
told you it
claim
was also Silent Night.
but you didn't. Therefore, you can, and yours was more about the family.
Mine was about the family of Christ.
The family of Christ. Okay. Pious Trey over here. Very good. Okay. Now, I really got to work on this. Now, Dustin, I'm going to need a clarifying note here. I'm just going to preemptively say this. Mine is that moment. It comes from this same moment. And so if I need to pivot, I'll pivot. But But it's not the moment where we're singing, and it's not the moment at the end in the last verse where we're often a cappella, lifting our candle high, singing Silent Night. It's the moment where those leading the service take the light from the Advent wreath, and the light of Christ goes to a few and then more, and then you watch it explode across the room, right? You watch it transfer from person to person, like that literal sharing of the light of Christ from one to the next. That is the holiest moment. I love the end where we're all lifting it high, but that moment of transference in sharing is meaningful and powerful for me. Dustin, does it count or does it not count?
I actually really like that too, so I'll give it to you.
Okay.
How generous.
Hey, generous of spirit. It's one of the 5 things that we need to stay on the nice list.
Exactly.
The spirit of
It's the
generosity.
spirit of
It's
generosity.
one of the things. And so, okay. So we've had our first round is done. The first round in the draft, our worship experience, praying over every child in the universe, being with family at the end of the Christmas Eve service on a day when we're pulled 17 ways to Christmas, but that's our unifying moment. Not singing Silent Night while everybody else sings Silent Night and lifts their candle high in the a cappella verse at the end. And I'm going to claim the transference of the light.
Yeah.
Again, Dustin, good luck making those visuals for each one of these things, as you will get to vote on our teams. You get to tell which one of us got the best team. And no, Santa is not the default correct answer to this.
I don't know.
Every child is going to vote for Santa. We know that. The rest of us need some help here. Okay.
There is one other thing I do, though.
Okay, what's that?
Well, right at midnight, and this plays right into you. You see, Santa actually has this in his bag. And you know what it is? Oh, my goodness. It's pretty nice. It is a harmonica,
Oh, my God.
which is the world's smallest church organ. Because the organ doesn't fit in the sleigh with all the Barbie dream houses and the bluey stuff. Yeah, you don't have room
Fair
for
enough.
that. So at midnight, the reindeer turn around and go, "It's time." And I go, and we go on from there.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Santa, I think you may have just picked your thing for Christmas Eve tradition that's a non-church activity, but it's not your turn in the draft yet.
That's right.
You go last in this round, Santa, not first. You
That's
go-
right. I know. And that's okay. I just wanted to provide an extra illustration of
Okay,
one thing we
okay.
could do.
Hopefully you don't play Silent Night on harmonica.
I don't, so I can't claim that.
It may be the first time you've ever heard it played on a harmonica. That's true, but
One of our Christmas Eve traditions. So with the first pick in the second round here, I get to go first this round, and we'll go back around. One of our Christmas Eve traditions is that we're the cringy family that all has the same pajamas, or the pajamas in the same theme, and so we too are pulled 17 ways to Christmas on Christmas Eve. But that unifying moment where we all are wearing the kind of matching pajamas, it gives my wife incredible joy, and we wake up for Christmas Day ready to go and picture ready for what is going to be a wonderful thing. So that's one of my favorite Christmas Eve traditions. So, Trey, what you
Nice.
got?
Also going back to being a music minister for several years, being pulled 18 different ways, doing 8 services throughout the day. My favorite non-church thing is at the very end of the day. For years now, since college, I go home, I pour a drink of choice, and at about 11 o'clock, 11:30, midnight, depending on when I get home and get settled, I watch my favorite Christmas movie every single year. And you're not allowed to watch it before Christmas Eve, but I watch Christmas Vacation every single year at about 11:30 at night. And even now, into like no longer doing music ministry full time, my wife still allows me that pleasure, that joy. Nolan may decide differently,
Right.
but at least for one more year, I get to just relax in the stillness of the moment with the Christmas tree on, watching my favorite Christmas movie.
There you go. Very good. All right, so we've got cringy family pajamas. We got Christmas Vacation with a beverage of choice. And Jenna, what you got?
For us, we're in like that weird phase with the little kids, like trying to rediscover what those traditions are going to be, because everything is different now than it was. But the one thing that we've really tried to hold on to from my childhood, we always made my grandma's cinnamon roll recipe on Christmas Eve morning, knowing that Christmas Day was super chaotic because my parents were so tired from doing the 8 services. We always did a lot of Christmas stuff on Christmas Eve morning before services started. So cinnamon rolls, Christmas Eve morning. And we still do them now, even though my toddlers, they're really picky, Santa. It is so hard. They won't eat, my toddlers won't eat the cinnamon rolls, but I will.
Fair enough.
And so that's still cinnamon rolls. That's a necessity for us.
You stole my best bite around early. You stole my best bite. Not your grandma's cinnamon rolls, but our family sweet roll recipe is just we can't have Christmas.
Gotta have it.
And it's
Gotta
usually
have it.
Christmas morning for us, but we cannot have it without it. And we've had to work really hard in the gluten-free era of my life to try to make it work and not be bad, and it's still only 3/4 as good. So, okay. I got to go deeper into the list in my head, Jenna. Thank you so very much. Santa, you got a way to sneak something in around early here?
Well, it's a very busy night for me. Most of the time I'm looking at the backsides of 2 reindeer as I'm flying on the sleigh. That's part of the deal. So, but I do have, a few traditions. I do talk to the reindeer, and the reindeer do listen to me. And, we'll have some important discussions about what's going on in the world and where we have to travel and be safe. Oh, my goodness, it's quite a deal. But there's this one little place that I do take a pause and stop. And it's in Austria. I land there and I look at everything, and usually the lights, the sparkling stars, and the snow on the mountains, it's just pretty for a minute. And we can only take a minute because we have a lot to do that night, just like you all do. Right? And we just have a moment of enjoying the beauty of the earth.
Amen.
Nice.
Very good. Santa, you're up in round 3. You get to go first this time.
Oh, my goodness.
The best bite. Now, you may not have snack time on Christmas Eve, but this category extends through the entirety of the Christmas season. So what is one of those quintessential Christmas bites for you?
Oh, my. There are so many because I have to eat so many cookies on Christmas
That's
Eve.
fair.
And there are some really amazing cookies as you travel around the world. Oh, my goodness.
Are there any bad cookies?
I've never met a cookie I didn't like.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, pretty much. The round ones are really good. Yeah,
Okay.
right. But I do love one other thing. Pastor Daniel knows this too. Santa loves pizza, and we have pizza on Christmas. Sometimes on Christmas Eve we will have pizza, and of course Santa loves to make pizza, so we make pizza before I take off. Of course, and so we all have a little
Got a
bite
carb
there.
load for the
a
long
little
journey
carb
that
load
you've
for
got.
that long journey.
Yeah.
The reindeer are like, oh, we ate pizza again. Yes, it's one of those things. But we have fun with it.
All right, so we've got Christmas pizza. Jenna, you've already skipped ahead around. So are you skipping ahead to ambiance in the food that you're gonna?
No, I can
You can land
here.
on
I
food
can
too.
land here,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Are you gonna pick my second favorite thing now in this best bite category? So I'm just
I
gonna be.
hope not for your sake.
Okay, fair enough.
But so my mom makes homemade caramels, and I remember growing up, we would have to be on the way to grandma's house, and she would be cutting them, and we individually wrap each one. It's a whole to do, but they are just so good, and you can just they're delicious.
Sounds amazing.
Caramels, yeah.
Okay, sweet roll or cinnamon rolls and caramels.
Lots of sugar.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Trey, what about you?
All right, mine is going to be kind of difficult. Do I have to pick one food or can I pick a spread?
The category is best bite.
I'm just going to go with it and see if Dustin calls me out on it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
So in my wife's family on Christmas Eve, I grew up in Alabama. We always did just down home country cooking, or we did finger food bites type stuff. But in Becca's family, they do a whole Latin spread. Tamales, queso, all sorts of stuff, delicious. So just everything, loading all of it on my plate and then just putting queso all across on top of everything. It's just the best. I look forward to it every year. And then try to take a nap, but it never works out because I have to go do Christmas Eve worship services. But it is a delicious spread of, and the tamales, we get them from a local lady who hand rolls them. They're incredible. Yeah. I'll, if I have to pick one, Dustin, I'll say tamales, but the whole spread really.
Trey.
I'm so
I'll
I'll change it to queso if that helps.
No. Well, queso does help because but tamales is great. We do the big Thanksgiving, traditional spread at Thanksgiving, but Christmas is a time for chili and tamales,
yes.
it's what we do Christmas morning. But I'll
sorry.
pivot. That's okay. That's the joy of having the fourth pick in the round. Sometimes you get your third or fourth selection, and that's all right. So I'm going to go with a Chex Mix. It is one of those things that I don't eat any other time of year. but we make the first batch on Black Friday, right after we've put the Christmas decorations up. And I probably eat 3 or 4 batches of it between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And it's Santa, I look a little bit more like you by the end of Advent than I did at the beginning. A little rounder, a little wider. My wallet's a little emptier, right? It's just the nature of things. But Chex Mix is that thing.
Do y'all call it Chex Mix?
We do.
We call that was my other answer, actually.
Okay.
But we call it trash.
Oh, yeah.
It's Chex Mix and Cheez-Its and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, I've always thought the word, they call it trash. I always thought that was really weird.
Right. Because it doesn't taste like it. It's quite good.
Oh, yeah. No,
Now,
it's delicious.
The danger is, when you put it out to cool after you pull it out of the oven, and it's just sitting there on the paper towels cooling off. If it doesn't get in a container that evening, it's gone by the time, or 3/4 gone. And I wish I could blame it on my children, but I can't. They don't like it near as much as me. Okay, so let's recap where we're at. We're 3 rounds in, right? We've done worship experience, we've done Christmas Eve tradition, non-church activity, and we've done best by Trey. Remind us of the essentials you have assembled so far.
So Christmas Eve worship was Silent Night, holding the candle up on the 4th stanza.
Okay.
Watching Christmas Vacation when all is calmed down and settled. And then the whole Latin spread, tamales, quesos, margaritas, everything. It's delicious.
Nice. Jenna, where are you at?
Food, caramels, food, cinnamon rolls.
Cheating
Food,
twice.
no, yeah.
That's it.
Caramels, cinnamon rolls, and family. And
Very
worship.
good. Last song. Very good. Santa, remind us what you've got so far on your essentials.
Okay. First off, is praying for all the families around the world as I visit and deliver. And the second is
Austria, right?
Austria.
Yeah.
Yes, peace in Austria. The stars in Austria. And the third one is pizza. I keep
Okay.
thinking about pizza now. I don't know.
That's it. That's it.
It's almost lunchtime.
Yes.
It is, and it does sound really good.
There we go.
And I've got Chex Mix, the transference of the lights, and matching PJs galore. As we move into the 4th, we have Christmas ambiance, anything that enhances the Christmas Eve or the Christmas environment, something that is essential to your experience of Christmas. And I'm just going to go really basic, but really meaningful. I'm taking the Christmas tree. So sorry in advance if that is one of your essential things. But our Christmas tree has white lights on it rather than colorful stuff. And it's got that warm white glow. And I just, throughout this season, again and again, we have moments where all the lights in the house are turned off, or most are turned off, except for that glow from the Christmas tree. And it takes me back to that same moment of light shining into darkness that we talk about on Christmas Eve so beautifully and profoundly. It's just that warm glow in this season that it means a ton. And knowing that we put it up together with our kids and it's a whole family thing, that's a part of the ambiance for me. Trey, you're next up. What you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go super specific. So Christmas
Perfect.
tree is a great answer. And that was my initial thought, was Christmas tree. But specifically, my wife over the years has put together a very beautiful mantle. She puts a lot of work into it. There's this incredibly lit, strung garland that goes under it. This all the stockings. She's got it decorated with all sorts of trees and greenery on the top. And it's just she's put a lot of love and care, and it's done very well, and it's done very beautifully. And then it's extra special this year because we got to add Nolan's stocking for the first time. It's the only string of lights in the house that we never turn off. Even the tree we turn off occasionally, but we always keep it plugged in, and it's just this constant source of comfort and Christmas spirit. So the mantle.
And potentially a fire hazard if you leave it on 24/7. Okay.
Oh, no, you can't get that out.
Just little
It's above the
LED
fireplace. It'll be fine. It's a
We
space
just never light a
designed for fire, right? It's good. Very good. Awesome, Trey. Jenna, what you got for ambiance?
That was really close because for us, even if it's 70 degrees, the fireplace goes on.
Okay.
And we have a fire going, except Christmas Eve. We turn it off on Christmas Eve. Got to be prepared.
Yeah.
But the rest of the time, if we are in the living room, the fireplace is lit. And there is just something about that warm glow that sets the mood.
Very
if
good.
it's not lit, we do put it on the TV so that you
Okay.
can see
Yeah,
the
so you
fireplace
still
lit
get
there.
the-
Yeah, but it's always on.
Very good. Santa, what you got for ambiance?
Well, since I'm traveling in a beautiful red and green sleigh, what I do right before we take off, I go around it and we polish it so you can see your reflection in it. And all the elves will look up and see their reflection in it. And it's beautiful. And I just love having that beautifully polished sleigh. because I'm going to be in it for the entire 24 hours of Christmas Eve.
I hope you've got a really comfy chair in there, or
It's
a
a
really
very
good cushion.
They've worked on the design of the seat. It's very comfortable now.
Okay.
In the old days, it was just a straight board, and that was kind of tough. But now it's much
got
more.
memory
We've got
foams
it.
and
yeah,
things
memory
like that
foams,
that-
and yeah, they've
Like
done a
riding first
really.
class.
Yeah. We've got some elves in the tech division that do a great job at
Good.
keeping things state of the art. It still looks antique, but it's all state of the art.
Well, as you're taking care of others, it's good to be taking care of yourself too.
That's
there.
right.
Very
Yes.
good. All right, we've made it to the final round. It's hard to believe that we've made it this far, but are you ready? This is the wild card round. Anything goes. So anything that for you is a Christmas essential. Santa, I'm going to let you go first.
The Christmas essential for me is seeing the joy in children's eyes when they see me and they see the gifts that they've gotten and they're going to get. I think that's my what I have to see is those kids, and I see it now any day that I visit anywhere. A child will run up to me and look at me and be so excited, and I just love that look. And that to me, having that is a Christmas essential. Is having that energy and life and just wonder. It's just beautiful.
Yeah. Amen. That
Yeah.
joy is such a cool and profound thing. And I think you stole, I was going to take that 4-year-old Christmas experience, that, when your kids are toddlers and they are old enough to know what it is that they want, but that, oh my goodness, it's actually, I still have video of our middle child, the year she wanted a sleeping bag for her fake American Girl doll, right? That was the thing. She wanted a sleeping, like anything else in the world? No, just this sleeping bag. When she opened that, it was just this eruption of joy. And so I'm going to have to come up with something else, Santa. Thank you. But I'm with you.
But
It
we
is
see
a
it,
powerful
and
moment.
I'm looking at the look in the children's eyes. That would be mine, just so if we have to do it. It's
If we
just
gotta
that
clarify.
look of love and happiness in the children's eyes. So you have that in there. Okay.
All right. Jenna, what you got? Wild card.
So I love Christmas cards. Like I love Christmas cards. And so we display them on the cabinets in our kitchen really beautifully. But I've realized that my love of Christmas cards really starts and ends because for me, it's a way to curate gratitude and a way to be really intentional to say, like to be able to look and see, oh my gosh, the giftedness that we've received. And I use it as a prayer tool too for people throughout the year. But I just really love Christmas cards. So if you haven't sent me one, I will gladly receive your Christmas cards.
Now, do you have a hierarchy of receiving Christmas cards? The ones that were generic, bought by a box of 100 at Costco versus
Doesn't matter.
the ones where people clearly hired the photographer to come take a bougie picture and they wrote a 3-page write-up as to what their year was like. Do you have a hierarchy in there, or
we are bougie picture people,
okay?
mostly because every year the kids change so much.
Yeah.
And it's like I have to capture what it is in that moment. But any Christmas card counts. And I put it on a little ring after Christmas when we take them down, and I flip through them all year to pray for people who send cards. So
cool.
any card will do. It does not have to have a bougie picture.
Okay, all
But
right,
send them to me. I love them.
awesome.
They're my favorite.
Trey, what you got? I know you had Christmas cards high on your list, and so
Actually, one thing I did consider was designing our Christmas card. Our family one, that's obviously design and communication is something I really love doing. So I do enjoy that aspect. But I think after years of we lived in Alabama or we lived in Texas and my family was in Alabama, there was just these probably 10 or so years where Becca and I were constantly traveling back and forth on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or the day after. Like it was always just go, and there wasn't a lot of stillness. But here the last couple of years, we've been very intentionally not traveling on either of those 2 days specifically. And so that's it for me. Just doing Christmas Eve, being with all the family, but just my immediate little family. We wake up together on Christmas Day. We do our thing. We are together. We're not trying to hurry somewhere or get somewhere or do something. We do later in the day.
Yeah.
But we just have a few moments where it's just us and there's no hustle and bustle and we just get to be together on Christmas.
That is wonderful.
That's nice.
And now that you do have Nolan, no, you have the grandkid, and therefore you got the power.
The one with the littlest grandkid wins. They get to choose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good to know.
There was a season where we had the only grandchild in the family system, and you want to talk about having power. That was great. It's like, all y'all are coming to my house because I'm not getting home till 1 a.m. from church, and you're coming and you're bringing food. It was wonderful.
And you're putting the toys together ahead of time.
Right.
Yes.
Well, the fun side note
That's
is
his job.
Sometime.
Becca's sister actually had a baby 6 weeks after us.
Oh no!
We had the youngest grandchild for 6 weeks, but we already don't have the youngest grandchild. So, but they're both so young, and it's surely will work
that's
out.
okay.
Either way, yeah.
You just need to leverage the power within the family
I
system
will as
somehow.
much as I
Come on,
can.
Trey. I know you got an inner aggressive spirit.
Oh, definitely.
It'll work out fine. Okay, so this is wild card, and I had hoped we'd get here, right? That moment with the kids opening their stuff is such a powerful moment. But for me, the wild card for the entirety of the Christmas season and Advent and kind of the days after is music. It speaks to my soul in such a profound way. Now, I'm a staunch guy. I don't want to hear Christmas tunes before Black Friday, right? I don't want to hear it before the day after Thanksgiving. I don't want to hear "All I Want for You for Christmas Is You" by Mariah Carey on November 1st. I just, you want to make me
You're
angry.
clearly not in music ministry.
Right.
Because you have to do that way sooner.
July.
Yeah,
July
you're
is
starting
when you
way
start
early.
listening.
Yep.
But from the beginning of Advent on, if there's not a song going in the background or in my head, or it is, it's not an experience of Christmas. And so, I've had the joy of being the choir singer, but never the choir director. And so it's a whole lot more fun on that end of things.
Yeah.
You just get to go and participate and do, and it was wonderful. Although my mama was in ministry as well. And so Christmas Eve was a time not of our bonding over the last song. It was when I got voluntold to sing a solo at the 11 p.m. service that was designed for a tenor. I'm like, Mom, you understand that I'm a bass. Like, yeah, I don't care. In the Bleak Midwinter is yours. Go for it.
Yeah.
Like, okay. All right, so let's recap our teams. Or
Okay.
we don't really have teams. We have essentials that we've
Right.
curated and brought together here because, this experience has been meaningful and important. But how we are judged by our Pod Strangely Warm family is the real gift of this. And know that we are counting on you to say one way or the other. And I have lost every one of these. You need to know my teams have lost every single time, and it's beginning to create a complex within me. Either that or you just like everybody else better, and that's cool too. So let's recap where we're at. Trey, what is your Essentials team so far?
All right, Essentials team. Racing the Candle, singing Silent Night a cappella. That was Christmas Eve worship, Christmas Eve worship activity. Watching Christmas Vacation with everything's calm and still and silent. All of the Latin food for Christmas Eve, tamales and queso. Christmas ambiance, my wife's mantle, how she's carefully put it together so beautifully. And then, yes, just being with my family on Christmas morning, waking up with my wife and 2 kids because my dog counts on Christmas morning.
Trey, that's a nice collection of things. I don't know if it's a winning collection of things, but it's a nice collection
I
of
think
things.
you'll see it as a winning collection.
So if you've got 30 seconds to camera to convince us why yours is a winning collection of things, what is that?
I don't think I have to convince you. I think you'll understand and appreciate the beauty of singing Silent Night on Christmas Eve, my appreciation for my wife's hard work, the beautiful food assembled with family together, and then most importantly, waking up on Christmas with your family.
Very good. Okay. Jenna, what you got so far? And we're going to test your ability to wax poetic as well at the end. So,
Okay, so I had family in worship,
yep.
caramel and cinnamon rolls,
Yes.
fireplace, and Christmas cards.
Okay. If you had to convince us in 30 seconds or less, Trey took longer than 30 seconds, but that's okay.
about right.
Why your team wins?
I'm the only one here who included you, the listener, in my essentials. And I'd like to invite you to be a part of my experience of Christmas so that I can pray for you and your family in this time. Amen.
Amen. All right. Santa, what's your team? Remind us of what you've got.
okay, I pray over children, every child that I deliver presents to, and even the ones I just fly over, of course. And then secondly, I love to stop and enjoy the beauty of the earth while I'm traveling around the world on Christmas Eve. Of course, pizza before we take off, because pizza's great, and those
It
of you
is.
who know.
It is.
Know. And then, let's see, we had our beautiful joy with all the children in their eyes, and when they see me or open a gift. And I don't know, I think there's so many different things that Santa could think of.
Yeah.
I almost should exclude myself, because anybody who doesn't vote for Santa gets on the naughty list. We won't go there. That's okay. All right,
Trump card
can-
pulled. It's
okay,
hard
that's
to
right.
overcome that.
We can cut that if you want.
No,
That's fine. That was
that's
funny.
good. That's good. All right, in my team, worship experience, I've got the moment where the light is transferring
Yes.
from person to person.
We call it church glow.
Church glow. Amen.
That's
That's
it.
so
There we
beautiful.
go.
Non-church tradition on Christmas Eve is matching PJs. I've got Chex Mix for the best bite, or really multiple bites over the course of the Christmas season. Ambiance. I've got the glow of the Christmas tree. Church
Right.
glow and home glow coming together for a major glow up. So if you're on Team Glow Up, you want to vote for me. And in the wild card, my wild card is music. The sounds of the season in all of the ways, both secular and sacred, that the music speaks to us. And so if you love light shining into darkness, if you love sounds that feed your soul, if you love some Chex Mix that some people call trash, you want to vote for this team. It has been a heck of a lot of fun today to get together and draft our Christmas essentials. If we left something out and missed something that you're like, these fools, how many people do they need to have on the podcast before they get what is really essential about Christmas? Let us know in the comments. Make sure that we are aware of what your Christmas essentials are. And as always, know that we want you to vote on which team you think is best, so that we can increase our joy with a little competition on Christmas. And so, in Pod Strangely Warm family, as you experience the joy and beauty of Christmas this season, know it is our prayer that Christ is born anew into your life and into your community this Christmas. May it be a time filled with hope, love, joy, and peace. And as always, know that you are family here, and we pray that that extension of family extends far beyond the space of this podcast community, so that we might continue as followers of Jesus, seeking after the loving, just, and free world God imagines for all people. Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
This has been Pod Strangely Warm. If you enjoyed our conversation today, know that you can find us anywhere you find podcasts. On Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, any and all the places, we are there. So if you want to continue the good United Methodist conversation that you've been a part of today, find us, like us, rate us, review us, and share with a friend, so that the good news that is happening right here in our own midst can amplify even more.
I was noticing nobody said a good sermon for their Christmas Eve essentials, and I'm really grateful for that.
Amen. It's the same story every year, and we try really hard.
I don't. I just do the same thing. Nobody needs anything new. They want to do what Grandma did, and I'm happy to do that. on
Every
Christmas
pastor
Eve.
I've ever worked with, I've just looked at them and be like, they've heard Luke too.
That's right.
They've heard it. Okay, let's get to the music. That's why people are here. So sorry.
Also, batteries. That was going to be my backup if somebody
yeah,
thought like,
yeah.
batteries was going to be
Yeah,
the wild
yeah,
card for me.
yeah.
Yeah. Essential. Sermon,
essential.
not so much. Batteries.
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 Essential.
That's on the list. Yeah.
And Trey, every senior pastor, when you tried to argue for moving to the music, was like, we have the most people in this room at any point in this year, right here and right now. We are going to give them a good sermon, okay?
Definitely.
Or we're going
not
to
me.
try.
I want the music. I'm a music minister's kid.
Yeah,
I'm
there
married
you
to a
go.
music minister. Just give me the music too.
Yep.
It's all good.